Now we have CA SWARANG TANKSALI. AI-powered financial modeling fundraising is your use case. So over to you for your presentation.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate. And of course, most importantly, thanks to ICAI for taking the initiative to push AI so much in finance. That's where it all started for me, where we did the YouTube video, right? So now coming back to what I'm here to present today, very quick introduction. I'm a finance controller with a SaaS startup. So my problem statements are quite heavily trying to solve problems in the world of startups. One of them involving around fundraising. The primary objective is how I can leverage. So so I've Dua in the first presentation mentioned that everybody has their own favorite LLMs. I'm surprised there was no one ChatGPT. I think so. I'm the only ChatGPT guy here. So I will be using ChatGPT normal texting plus the agent mode to demonstrate my use case. Um, just a second. Yes. So the implementation strategy, as I mentioned, basic prompt plus the model building, and the whole idea is the problem statement is very simple. I am looking at, for example, h- how I can. So there's a simple hypothesis. The hypothesis is that I think that if we do Series B today, then the overall ownership or shareholding that, of course, the existing investors have today will be lower. Like they'll be heavily diluted today than if I were to do a bridge round through a safe note and then do a Series B later, as long as we are able to over execute on the parameters required for the fundraise. So this was the hypothesis with which I started, and this is something that I will demonstrate how I worked with ChatGPT to get an interesting outcome fully end to end in the form of an Excel modeling, which is very typical in the world of say an FP&A and business partnering, right? Um, uh, there are some challenges and limitations to this. One being agent mode is extremely heavy in computation and requires a lot of time. So I will still try to demonstrate how to use the agent mode in the end. However, I still have a backup Excel which is coming from an existing actual use case that I did, right? And most importantly, ChatGPT works with, or any form of LLM works most with a lot of context window and a lot of memory in the same chat. So I can't simply come up with a prompt, iterate that prompt towards the end, which got me the final output, and then copy paste into a completely new chart and expect the same outcome. So these are some of the limitations that I'm working with. And of course, the whole goal is to, try and cut down what would have taken me 2 to 4 days in studying the entire mathematics of how to go about this entire exercise, and then trying to iterate it in Excel, speaking to 15 people, and then trying to use AI. It was an absolute possibility that I was trying to work on. Now coming to, I will just share my screen. So I started with a very, very simple prompt, and I'm actually a very heavy user of the dictate model also, which even saves our time in typing. So the prompt was very simple, that I want your help to build an automated Excel, that we want to raise cash in 5 months. There is a dilution option. Then in option A, we can do either Series B or do a safe funding round and then do a Series B. And I clearly mentioned that I have a hypothesis that the same thing that I mentioned, right? So then based on this, it will give me this prompt.
So
Again,
have
if
you
you
shared your screen? I can't see your screen, I think.
is my screen visible now? I'm sorry, I was sharing a
Yes, now,
presentation also, but
now,
nobody mentioned then.
yes, yes, now it is visible. Okay. I was confused, okay, when you are seeing, that's why.
My bad. So yes, so I'm sharing my chat GPT screen now. So as I mentioned, a very simple prompt, with a clear problem statement that I, defined a moment ago. Based on that, we get a clear output. We understand that it understands our problem statement, that we are evaluating two options and what the model should do, that we are trying to track dilution, and most importantly, toggling assumptions the way we want to, sort of like a sensitivity analysis built into that computation, and showing the various outcomes, existing shareholding versus the comparative outcomes across. So if you can see, it completely gives out an initial output of inputs, assumptions, with cell references. Everything is done by ChatGPT, not a single thing. The very first time I did it, if you like, to be very honest, I didn't even try to understand it. It was so complicated, or rather so detail oriented. And so option B, it mentioned what all is required, what all is required. Then also comparison output, what is my requirement? And of course, if there are any visualizations. However, I did not like the first prompt. So I always believe that we can never get the correct output in the first go. So then I iterate with it, which is the most important step. Because the quality of our input and our iteration will depend on the quality of the output that that agent can do for us. So based on that, I clearly mentioned that I want 3 scenarios in each case, bare, bull, and base case, and that I only want one master sheet in which I can toggle it. And I want to group some of the static rows and keep open the dynamic rows and automate the entire Excel in a way that I can change any of the dynamic assumptions and the entire working changes at the bottom. Uh, and also clearly defining what all columns I want to see, right? Because at the end of the day, the clarity of thought in our mind, if we are able to present it, that will be the quality of the output. Uh, I So yes, going ahead, then based on that, it updated the entire model prompt. By the way, of course, as you can see, I'm using AI to generate the prompt that I want to solve my problem. So based on that, it updated its prompt. And most importantly, this is something that I've actually coded in my general profile requirements that I always ask ChatGPT for clarifications before I can proceed. So it asked me 3 questions. Do you want a full Excel file with formulae, or do you want to a step-by-step mapping? Uh, do you want to have one line item for existing? Do you want a breakdown? So then we answer each question very clearly. And so right, yes, yes. And most importantly here, I didn't want an blank Excel output. I wanted to ensure that it is giving me a fully ready automated model with arbitrary numbers to function with. So then when the first output comes, I am able to understand and evaluate whether the formulas that are being used, all of that, are they even making sense, or some of them are wrong, right, etc. Right? Uh, Based on that, I again further revised the entire prompt. We got another version with a very clear output, which I mentioned, right? This is exactly what I wanted to see. So it was able to understand my genuine requirements. Based on that, now run your prompt in agent mode. Again, so now we run the prompt in agent mode. We got one output. So I can show you this output, for example. So this was one of the output. As you can see, this section was not correctly updated by ChatGPT in the first go. So while some of the formulas were sort of correctly updated, but we wouldn't be able to understand what to do unless the rows have a clear header. So then we iterate further with it to clearly mention that the output is a little flawed. We need to ensure that we have clearly defined what is being computed in a row, new price. So these are the examples that I gave. Then revise the prompt. It revised the prompt again. This is what I gave as a revision prompt, that I clearly mentioned that we need to see the existing shareholders. It needs to be mentioned. We want to compare it 0 decimal. I also ensured that it comes in a formatted manner where the numbers are in a comma format and percentages are in actual percentages. It again gave me a final prompt. Uh, yes, so this is, for example, what eventually it again ran the entire prompt, revised the prompt, and then when I ran it in agent mode, I was able to, just a second, get the absolute correct output over here, right? So I will sort of explain also in this, while at the same moment, I'll try to again run this entire um, query ourselves in front of everyone so that, we are also able to see it live. Most important thing I would say while running any query is ensuring that we are selecting the right models and we are selecting the right, I would say, agents while selecting. So here, if I go at the top, my model would be ChatGPT 5. And if I come down again, most importantly, there is a button over here where I've selected agent mode. This is only available in the pro model. So I copy pasted it, the entire this thing again, and we'll see how it runs. So agent mode works in a very unique way where it is a completely virtual desktop that spins up in the backend somewhere in like in some OpenAI server, and sort of a virtual machine that runs our prompt, which we can, as you'll see, we can even like actually see what's going on and how it goes through the entire thinking process behind it. So while it's running, I just show you the output which I was able to generate. As you can see, it clearly understood my entire requirements that the static ones are at the top. It clearly understood that the dynamic ones are to be identified in yellow, and they are fully dynamic, as we'll see. I'll give an example later on. It also was able to identify in both the cases, most importantly, the existing column which I mentioned, bear case, bull case, and base case in option A, in option B. Option A is where we do the, for example, do the entire fundraising today, or then we defer. It was the option B. Every single line item has been clearly computed with the exact formulas which we can verify whether it has been done correctly or not, right? So if you can see, all these are fully linked, and the most important, what we call as sensitivity analysis, where every CFO, every CEO wants to see, if I can change one figure, one factor, what happens. So for example, even if I simply change 80 million to maybe $1 million, we see that the shareholder, the ownership changes from 48 to 50. So you can do it in any cell, and then we'll get the same sort of answer. So yes, so that was just trying to show the output, and right now the agent is running its program.
Swarang, the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Till the sheet is being downloaded, I'll just go to my last slide in the interest of time. I mean, the most important thing over here I would like to say is this I have, for example, I started off with a thought, is something I had not done, but I used ChatGPT as a teacher, as an executor, to brainstorm with it, iterate with it, and come up with an output. What would have taken me easily 3 to 4 days of studying plus iterating plus talking to people, help me out and giving me an output. This entire model, the entire learning, I was able to compress it within a day. Most importantly, I became a reviewer and not a preparer. So I was able to completely outsource the manual task that I had to do to ChatGPT, and I got that output, I would say. I'm actually done with my presentation. I'm hoping that this also gives the same output. Yeah, so as you can see, even this file came exactly as is. And that's about it. That's my presentation. And I would just like to end with, again, giving thanks to ICI for giving this platform to share my use case with everyone. And most importantly, I'm very inspired by other people's workflows to take it ahead. And I'm happy to take any questions that the judges might have.
Okay, so now I am doubting whether you have presented or your AI agent has presented. Okay, so agent mode is better than ordinary mode, I think. Really very nice, sir. Nice presentation.
Thank you.
I think actually second what sir said, that agent mode is actually quite time saving. And here I would like to ask you one thing. Everything that you prepared is good to go. How about accounting standard and SEBI rules and regulations in the same that you curated?
What about that, like
Your
accounting stand?
fundraising. How would it align with the SEBI rules and accounting standards? Like there should be a prompt. It's rather a suggestion. Like how would you deal with it? One, like there are SEBI regulations and guidelines and accounting standards regarding the same. So how would you deal with it?
So I think fundraising, I will answer both of the questions separately. I think from the first point, from a SEBI perspective, SEBI would apply where capital markets are involved, mainly where the public markets are involved. SEBI would apply to the people whom we are raising the funds from. It would not apply in this particular use case, especially that, for example, I was going after, because I would be raising from XYZ investors who would have liquidity partners giving them the funds, and it will be the duty of the entire VC firm to ensure the entire SEBI compliances of the AIF rules and regulations. So that I would not personally think, like my opinion would be that that may not be required when I am modeling as a private limited company.
Okay.
And coming to the accounting standards perspective, again, this was a pure play business evaluation, business use case, and here the accounting I would say the accounting standards would not take so much of a precedence or have any major relevance here, because at the end of the day, when the money will come, it will either come in preference shares, or it will come in a safe note, which will eventually go and sit in anyway in the equity share capital of the balance sheet with the bank on the asset side, with the funds in the asset side. So I mean, it would not be rocket science in that way, and there won't be any share allotment, share call money, all of those complications involved.
Okay. Okay. A good take though.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Swarang. And with this, I think we are done with all the presenters here.
I think Rishi can take control. Thank you, Riddhi.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Kunal sir
Riddhi,
is
for
there to take the
forward.
final
So,
proceedings. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So first, I want to thank our ICI leadership for this conducting this webinar. So I'll thank CA Charanjot Singh Nanda, the president of ICI, CA Prasanna Kumar D, vice president of ICI, CA Umesh Sharma ji, the chairman of AI in ICI, and CA Dayanima Sharma ji, vice chairman of ICI, AI in ICI. Second, I would like to extend my warm thanks to jury of the seminar, that is CA Ratnagiri Subhaya ji and CA Riddhi Jain ji, for their valuable inputs regarding the panelist. And then I would like to extend my thanks to all the panelists who joined us for demonstrating their use cases. And at the last, I would also like to thank all our participants and attendees of this webinar. So the voting is now open for all the attendees to vote for their panelist, and kindly rank all the panelists, 5 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. So the voting will be open for next 5 minutes, and then we'll end the webinar. So once again, I thank all the panelists, jury, and attendees for this seminar.
thank you. Thank you for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you for
you so
giving this
much, Kunal
opportunity.
sir. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so much.
Ratnagiri
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes.
Thank you to all the
Thank
panelists.
you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm requesting again all the attendees to kindly vote for their panelists, all the panelists.
I think we can leave now, sir.
Yes, yes. You can leave, sir.
Okay, okay.
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Kunal.
Thank
See
you,
you.
sir. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.